So hello and welcome to the fourth installment of the Social Media and Advanced Internet Marketing course. Just moving here. There we go. So this week we're going to talk about, I was thinking of talking about both article marketing and video marketing, but I realized there was so much content to cover in just the article marketing that we're going to focus on article marketing this week, and we'll do video marketing another point in time. So, article marketing. Having an article marketing strategy will help you accomplish tons of things. It will drive people to your online content on your website. It will ensure that you are a recognized authority in your field or your specialty area. It will improve your brand awareness and reputation because people will see you all over the internet. It allows you to present a variety of information directly to your target audience. It helps you to communicate different messages to different target audiences by the different articles that you can send out. And it's a fabulous, fabulous search engine optimization tool because at the bottom of every article in your personal biography or in your organization's biography, you can place in there backlinks, which will raise your Google ranking. And that can be used to drive traffic to multiple organizational entry points. So different website pages or different messages. If you have a message that's for patients in an article, you can drive the patients to the patient pages. If you have a message that's for physicians, you can drive the reader to the physician pages. So it's a great way to direct the people to the content that you want them to see on your website after they find your article out there on the internet. So, article marketing. The first part, of course, is to create an article. The best articles are kind of how-to articles or things that relate to your own organization or your own personal experience. So this is how I've done it before. This is what's made me a success. This is what the lessons I've learned. So instructional information is really what's people are looking for out there. And these types of articles help create credibility in your particular area of the industry and help move people, as I said, back to your website. So article marketing has become pretty much one of the most efficient forms of getting backlinks because you can post your articles on article sites. They can be found by search engines. You can put them on the repositories. You can put them in e-zines and even on blogging sites. So you can reuse your articles in many, many different places. And they bring traffic directly to your website. And a link in the bio section of the article, as I mentioned, is again where you do that. You come directly to your website. The other piece is all of this content here that is you can place in all these places. It can be the same content that you're using in your newsletters. So you don't have to create different content for your newsletters that you would create for your articles. So you can reuse different pieces of it and mix and match it and things like that. So in article marketing, the backlink that Google sees is from basically a popular website. You might call them article collection websites. One of them is called e-zine. And e-zine has a page rank of 6. The higher the number, the more traffic that website is getting and the more value Google gives to it in its algorithm. So a page rank of 6 is extremely, extremely powerful and therefore gives you more credibility and gives you more of a backlink strength and raises you up in the search engine searching when you have your link to a very strong website. Most people, though, create a single article and then upload it to a single website. However, there is a huge opportunity to post the same article to multiple websites because in the end it's all free and you could literally go to each separate website and post up your article. So the opportunity that has therefore presented itself in the marketplace is people have developed article marketing software. And so if you had, for instance, one article with different keywords and you use that, but then you got to 25 articles all with different keywords, the multiplier effect of the different articles with different keywords, with different titles, with different biographies, with different summaries would get you to 10,000 backlinks very fast. I'm not going to say it's going to get you there in a week, but people have been able to zoom up the search engine system to the front page very, very quickly by getting backlinks in this manner. So let's look at how we should go about doing that. So every article has to have, when it's submitted into any of these e-zines or article sites, it has to have a title, it has to have a subtitle, it has to have a body, so that's the main part of your message. It's usually about 500 words. It could be as low as 300 to 400. It could be up to 2,000 to 3,000 words. But something that's a quick read that's focused on 1 to 3 topics is usually what people are looking for. Something that they can get the key message from right away and then move on. And a couple of the last things would be having a biography. And a biography is, as I mentioned before, where you embed the links back to your website, and that's where you get your backlinks. So let's look at that in a little bit more depth. So when we're looking at the title, it's usually one line, and usually it uses a keyword phrase in the title. So this goes back to the point that when you're creating your article, you should have done some keyword research to find out what are the most searched keyword phrases. You should think about what pages on your website are either directly related to that keyword phrase or indirectly related to that keyword phrase, but are sort of related to it, because you want to find at least 2 pages on the website that each article could relate back to. One page on the website preferably would have that exact keyword phrase that you're going to use in the title, and another page would be something that's related to it. Then there should be a subtitle. Subtitle is usually 1 line, and the subtitle can be a little bit longer and maybe be a bit more provocative or ask a question or kind of lead people to think. So it's kind of like your title is your main point, but then, you know, wouldn't you like to know the secrets of such and such? Could be a great idea for a subtitle. Then the body of the document, as I said, must be greater than 500 words, because the standard in the industry is greater than 500 words as to the sites that will be accepting your articles. It follows the same types of keyword density rules that you use on a website page. So again, you can go and check the keyword density in the keyword density checker that I told you about before. And that's why if you're doing that for your page, if you're doing that for your newsletter, and you're doing that for your article, the same content can be repurposed in many different places. It's a very simple thing to do, to create and write the articles. And usually after people practice a bit, you can get the time down to about a half an hour to write 500 words. It's the type of thing where you want to write it really quickly and get all your main thoughts out, maybe put it aside for half a day or a day and come back to it and then re-edit it. But it's not the type of thing you want to spend a week writing. If you're spending a week writing, you're probably overspending some time preparing the article, etc., etc. Your bio, as I said, which contains link, the bio is not very long. It's only 1 or 2 lines, and we'll look at examples of that later. So if you were to write 25 articles, like I mentioned before, and spend just that half an hour, you'd spend 12.5 hours to get your 10,000 backlinks. So there's no way in the world you can get 10,000 backlinks. You can't even buy them. So this becomes a very efficient way to get your message out there, get your backlinks, raise your ranking in the search engines, and kind of be on your way to the success that you're looking for. Okay, so let's look at article websites. So on every article website, so for instance, e-zine is one of them, and we'll look at a whole bunch later, everything pretty much is human edited on all these sites. So when you send in an article, if it is a bunch of gibberish, if it is doesn't make a lot of sense, if it's just promoting what you do and isn't factual or isn't informative or isn't how-to, those human beings reading your article and considering it for submission and listing on their website will automatically reject it. The other side of writing really good content is that will eventually gain you credibility on these article websites, so you can be considered a featured writer or a high value content writer. And again, that will get you on their front page and highlighted in many places on their websites, which will again enhance your ranking as well. So what else do they look at when they're looking at your articles? Well, they'll toss back your articles if there's any errors. So again, make sure you write good stuff. They get thousands and thousands of unique visitors on these websites because all of this is pretty much unique content. So people want to see the good stuff, and they want to see the information, and they want to know that it's credible. Then others take your articles or use an RSS feed, and they bring it to their website, and then your content is kind of republished. So you wouldn't want to be giving out proprietary secrets, but you do want to give out information where you get credited for it. It refers back to your website. It lists you or your organization as the author, so that when it is moved around the internet, it all leads back to you in the end, and it all leads back to you with some more backlinks. So key is to be evangelical, to teach something and kind of change the world, to make a difference, and to really contribute to the information that's out there on the internet. You'll gain more by becoming the leader and the expert in the industry. So although you might not want to give away proprietary information, if there are some secrets or tips that you can give, then people will come to you as the expert, and most times they'll come to you tenfold, meaning you'll get back from a customer perspective and more traffic, kind of tenfold what you've given out there in your articles and in the internet. Okay, so what are some of the article rules? As I said, 500 words, and we're looking at text only. Unlike maybe your newsletter where you put pictures in it, in this case there's no pictures and it's just your information. So your information needs to have lots of white space, good paragraphing, not like a paragraph that goes on for 10 sentences. If you can use bullets or things to point out information and draw people's attention, that's great. Key is to don't put any links in the article, so don't link back to your website, don't link back to anything else in your article. Don't even reference your business name, because if the people link back on it, they'll do that with your website and then they'll know your business name. There really shouldn't be any advertising or marketing in your message, and as I said before, only really how-to information. So let me just stop there for a second and see if you have any questions so far about any of this.
So in the actual article, you don't want to backlink any of your organization information?
Right, because you're going to do that in your biography section, which is at the bottom of the article.
Okay, got it.
Okay. And I'll show you how that works in a little bit. Okay. So what are some of the article rules? Before you write the article, think of 3 sub-subjects to the main article that you can talk about that relate to the main idea. So kind of the same idea that I mentioned before is think about 2 to 3 ideas at most that are related to the big idea that you want to cover off in your article. Keywords are king. Think about what your article will say and how and where it will link to your back to your website. So again, that one main keyword that's probably the same as a page on your website, and then some other related pages on your website, or one other related pages. So an article really has 3, so just the body of the article itself has 3 sections. It should have an introduction, so 1 or 2 sentences that basically introduce the main idea. And the body should have no more than those 3 sub-subjects on the same topic. So for instance, maybe your article was on internet banking, and you talk about how accuracy, ease of use, and time saving are related to internet banking, and how that makes internet banking so much better than banking face-to-face and with the teller, et cetera, et cetera. And then you should have a closing paragraph, and that should kind of build curiosity. And the reason why you want to build curiosity is that then when they read your bio, which will be just underneath the bottom of the article, they say, oh, I want to learn more, and then they'll click that link to your website and they'll learn more about you, learn more about your organization, and learn more about how you might be able to help them out with this topic that they've just read about. Okay, so although it's really important to think about the articles, there's so many websites out there that you can post on. Like I mentioned already, e-zine articles. There's a website called goarticles.com, ArticlesBase, Article City. There's actually hundreds and hundreds of these websites out there. So what I'm going to take you through is one particular tool, which is an article marketing software tool. It's called Article Post Robot. It's developed by a guy called David, whose name is David Tang, and he's really great to deal with. The cost of his particular piece of software is just $127 US. So it's really, really very helpful in getting your articles out there. It's a very intuitive piece of software. When I show it to you, you'll see how you basically move from left to right along his tabs, and you just do each step one by one as you go through it. In the second tab are all the article sites. So it lists all these article sites over here, plus many, many more. And these are all the sites where you will then kind of register with those sites and become automatically uploaded to them as you kind of work through this process. These sites are all over the world, and what you really want to do is you want to join the most powerful article sites first. So for instance, as I said before, eZine Articles is rated with a page rank of, or a website rank of 6. So you want to focus on your highest ranking websites. And then another thing to think about is some sites don't need you to be a member, and you don't have to pre-register, but you can just send your articles to them directly, and there are about 25 of these, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes as well. So if you were to do this, and let's say each article took you 5 minutes to post, and there was about 400 websites, you probably would be spending 3 to 4 to 5 hours posting one article on these 400 to 500 websites, and you'd quickly say, I'm not cool with this type of activity, and I don't think I want to do any article marketing anymore. But for just $127, once you get it all set up, which will take you a little while to get it set up, you can get your articles posted all across the internet, and then get to that 10,000 backlinks that you're looking for. So again, here's a whole bunch more article sites that you can take a look at. Each time you create a new article, you can either join all these at once, or a lot of people say, well, let's just join 5 new sites every time I create an article, because it takes you a little while to join each new site. And there's a way on this software I'm going to show you where you can click on the page rank button at the top, and it sorts the list, so you can get to the websites that are the highest ranking websites, and you go to the list that have a rank of 6, for example. I don't think anybody has higher than a rank of 6. And you choose the websites that you want to post your article on. However, most of them are generic, and what you do is once you choose one, so let's say you chose eZine Articles, then you'll also choose which category do you want to post your article in. So do you want to post your article in pets, in family, in money, in business, in marketing, in healthcare? So you choose which areas you want to post your article in, and then when it's reviewed by the people at the receiving end, then they decide if they agree with you or not, and if that's where they want to post it, and then you go from there on. So I'm going to show you some tips a little bit later on, but I'll just give you a preview of those. There's some plugins that you can get for either Explorer or Firefox, whatever you're using as your main tool from that perspective. And these are called autofill forms. These autofill forms are where you put in your name, you put in your address, you put in your email, etc., and they kind of put a pencil up on your toolbar, so later on you'll see the toolbar up here, and when you're filling in a form on all these different article marketing sites, then you don't have to keep retyping it a million times. It just pulls it right into the form on each of the white sites like eZine, etc. The email that you sign up with, it really never shows with the article that you've published, and oftentimes if that's because they're asking you for a pen name. We often recommend that you use your real name or you use the name of your organization, because again, you're building credibility for yourself and for your organization and for the people who work there. And we also kind of recommend don't give them your real phone number. You probably don't want to have that out there on the internet. Even though it's not shown, it means their website now has your real phone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out this page called articlepostrobot.com. There are many other services that you can look at, but I'm going to take you through this one right now. Okay. So if you were to go to Article Post Robot, you'd see this right here, Article Post Robot, and it goes through and tells you why you should be using it. There's David Tang right there. And he goes through testimonials, of course, and talks to you about how other people have been successful in using it. And then way down here, somewhere down here, he gets to his price. It's all the way down here. He, of course, offers a money-back guarantee. and maybe I missed the price, but you can click right here to order now, and I think the price was just up a little bit further, but it's $127. I checked it out before. So here's your price. Here it is. Click here to order right now for only $127. So there you go. So let's go and take a look at what I've set up to do an article post robot session today. So if I were to go to the very first page, I would have loaded in my password and my username. And what I've done here is these are, if I just resort this, if you look at this whole list here, there's didn't sort it by number. Let's see if I can sort it by number. But we know here that there's 451 sites that they have listed here, and 434 of them need a login. Right now, it looks like it's sorted by page rank. So let me just go through that again. Yeah, it's sorted by page rank. You can also sort it alphabetically. Oh, there it is. That's how I get the numerical listing. So there's number 100 articles, and it goes all the way down to Zogo at 451. If I go back here and sort it by page rank, it puts the 0 page rank ones first, and then all the way down here at the bottom, it gives me the ones with a page rank of 6, etc. So there's 3 article websites that are ranked 6: Article Biz, eZine Articles, and Go Articles. Some of these don't need a login. You can see that here Article Biz does not need a login, Article City does not need a login, and I've just kind of started to log myself into all these different websites so that I can get listed and produce articles there. So let me just pick one right now. Let's pick this one, Amazines. And what you do is you right-click on this, and it comes up with these various options here. We're going to visit this selected article site, and we're going to look for how do we log in. So I'm going to register for an author account. And here it's asking me for my first name, my last name, my email address, a password, and then to re-enter my password. So I have chosen an auto fill-in tool, which is over here. It looks like a little pencil or a pen. And let's see if it works. So it's auto filling in my information for me. And then I will put in my password. It's good to probably use the same password for everything, and that just makes it easier on yourself. This one has a CAPTCHA, which I'll fill in there. And I have to agree to their terms and conditions, and then I will register. Okay, so registration is complete. Congratulations, your registration is now complete. So I'm going to get out of that, and we'll just go back here to the article robot, and then we'll go here. So I just signed up for this one here. Now I want to add in my information, so I want to change my login information, and I'm going to put in my username, which is my email. And normally I would put in my password, but I'm not going to put it in right now just so it doesn't show up on this webinar. Okay, so I'll remember to do Amazines later. Okay. So the next thing you would do is go to the mailing lists, and I haven't yet signed up for any mailing lists, but you do it the same way here. Is you'd click on one of them, right-click it, visit the selected mail list, and then after you do that and you register, then you change your subscriber information. You'd click on that, and then you're all set up. So you see this piece here will take a while to do, to sign up. There's 54 mail lists here, and going back to the article sites, there's 451 or 434 of them that need login. So it's going to take a while. Maybe, again, like I said before, maybe do 5 each time you do an article. Or if you're just real keen and want to watch some television and do it while you're watching television, you could do all 434 at once. Okay, so let's go to article options. So here we're going to put in, is where we start to put in our information about our articles. So as I mentioned before, you get to choose what categories you want your article submitted into. So my specialty is health. So I looked at this whole list and I said, do I want my article published under advertising, under art, under beauty, under careers, communication? And I chose as my #1 category to put my articles under health. Then I said I also want to choose science. I'm choosing management for this particular article. I'm going to choose marketing, and I chose business. But there's all different things that you can look at. You can choose government, all sorts of things like that. So I've already pre-prepared an article, and I'm going to go through loading that in with you. And this is a great way to just make it easier for yourself. So my article here today, just going up a little bit here, is about what makes a key opinion leader a key opinion leader. So here's my title, and here's my whole article. So I'm going to take that and copy it down to the bottom of my article, edit, copy, and I'll go back to here. And I actually don't put my article into this page. My article goes into this next tab called Article Content. They already had an article in there, so I'm just going to highlight it all and edit and paste my article in there. So as I paste my article in there, I just kind of take a look at it and make sure my spacing looks good and it hasn't jumbled it all up into multiple paragraphs. I see one here that should be a new paragraph that didn't get taken over. So there's my article below, and it says many article sites only allow one article, the plain text article and less than 3,000 word articles. So those are some good rules to follow as well too. So my article's in there, so let's go back here to article options. The first thing is, what are my keywords that fit with my article? So if I go back here to this here, I've already pre-listed my keywords on this page here. So I'm going to again just edit and copy them and move them over here and get rid of what was there before. Edit and paste. Paste. So it left some of them in there. Let's see if it took it all. So it took key opinion leader, key opinion leaders, KOL, KOLs, identifying key opinion leaders, KOL management, and key opinion leader management. So it took everything that I had there. Then what we want to look at next in this column is it says, what is your current article summary in 1 or 2 sentences? So what it also gives you is that what you want to do is you want to have multiple summaries, and this is where you're going to create your summary files over here on this side here. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to look up my summaries. So I've created 3 summaries, this one here, this one here, and this one here. So here's my first summary. So edit, copy, and I'll go over here. I'm going to replace that, edit, paste. And what I want to do here is I want to save the current article summary into a file. So I'm going to create a new file, a new folder called articles for article marketing. And I'm going to open that up. And I'm just going to call this summary 1. So it's called my summary 1, and it's underneath the file articles for article marketing, and I'm going to click that off. So here's my first article summary, and it's been stored within this software. So now I'm going to go back here and choose my second article summary. So I'm going to take that one, copy that, so edit, copy, and I'm going to replace this last one with my new one. And now I'm going to save this version. So I'm going to save the current article summary into a file, and I'm going to call this number 2. So there's number 2. And then I'm going to go back here again and choose my number 3, edit, copy, and I'm going to replace this. And I'm going to go back here and save the current version. I'm going to call that 3. And what I want to make sure to do is I want to say I'd like the software to use randomly choose the article summaries when it's posting my articles to all the different websites. So this is how you get your articles to look different, is they have different summaries. But they're also going to have a few other things that are different. They're going to have some different titles. So we're going to go up here now to this other column, and we're going to change the title. So I'll just delete this title, go back to my Word document. And again, I pre-created some titles. So what makes a key opinion leader key opinion leader? So edit, copy, I'm going to put that under title here, paste. And again, I'm going to go down to this function here, article title files. I'm going to save the current article title into a file, and I'm going to call this 1. Let's call this A. A. And that's going to be the first one. And then I'm going to go back and get this one here, get the second one. And now we're going to replace this up here. And we're going to call that one B. And we want to choose that one too. So if I don't tick these off, it won't choose them later. So you have to make sure all these are ticked off when you go through. And then let's go get my third title. Oops. And we're going to replace the title here. And we'll call this one C. And we're going to tick it off, and we're set. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to put in a subtitle. Then a subtitle won't change. The subtitle will be always the same. And remember, we said we wanted to make it a little bit interesting. So here, let's look at the top criteria to use to identify a key opinion leader. So we'll copy that, and we'll put it in as our subtitle. Paste. Okay, so now we've got 3 different article summaries, and we're going to have those be randomly used, and we ticked off all 3 boxes. We've got 3 different titles, and again, those are going to be randomly used, and we forgot to tick off use random checked article title, but those are all going to be chosen. We put in our keywords, we put in our subtitle, and we chose the different categories that we want to be listed in. So now, and we already did before the articles, and now we're going to go to author options. So here is again where you get a chance to create different descriptions about yourself, and here's where you're going to put in your backlinks. So I've already put in my information, my email address, my website, etc., etc. But now I'm going to put in my biography. And in this case, I have created, I think, 6 different biographies. And the key about the biography is, remember I said in the biography that's where you're going to put your backlink. So I've already decided that I want to link to one of my website pages. The keyword for that website page is called Continuing Medical Education. And here's a copy of that website page, so www.healthconnections.com, Continuing Medical Education. Another website page I want to link to is my market research page. And here it is again, Health Connections, market research to HTML. I also have a blog spot that I want to link to, and the keywords for that one are key opinion leaders, and here's the blog key opinion leaders. So I have 3 different website pages I've chosen, but I'm only going to use 2 in each of my biographies. So thinking about my keywords, so thinking about continuing medical education, thinking about market research, and thinking about key opinion leaders, I've written a bunch of bios. So I've said here, Don Van Dam gives a number of steps to identify key opinion leaders, which is my keywords, as part of a continuing medical education program. And then I took the same thing and I said Don Van Dam gives a number of steps to identify key opinion leaders as part of a market research program. So you can see I'm going to use this first one to link to this page, and I'm going to use this second one to link to this other page. But both of these will have the link to the key opinion leaders page. And then I created another biography. If you are looking for expert advice on key opinion leaders and some tips to improve your continuing medical education initiatives, please visit the Health Connections website. And then I did the same thing now, just changing continuing medical education to market research initiatives. And in both of them, I have key opinion leaders listed here and here. And then I've created one more. Author and speaker Don Van Dam offers up some tips on how to identify key opinion leaders and improve your continuing medical education programs. Author and speaker Don Van Dam, same thing, key opinion leaders, and improve your market research findings. So I basically quite easily have created 6 different bios that relate to this article and relate to various pages on my website. But what I need to do now is I need to create the backlink that fits with each of these different pages. So now here's my bios with the links. So remember up here, I put the links so I could see them. So this first one is Don Van Dam gives a number of steps to identify A. And remember how we learned this before? You use this special coding here, the less than sign A space HREF equals. Here's the page that's about key opinion leaders. Here's the hypertext, key opinion leaders. And then I close it off as part of a continuing medical education program. So in this case, I've replaced the words key opinion leaders with this backlink text. And here I've done the same. And here I've used two different ones. I've used continuing medical education for the first one and market research for the second one. So I've done it on this bio. I've done it on this bio. And let's just put it in right here on these last two. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to copy everything up to here. And I'm going to replace key opinion leaders with that. So there we go. It's nicely in there. I'm going to do the same down here. Okay, and now I have to replace the continuing medical education piece, which is right here as an example. And I have to replace the market research piece. Okay, so now I have my 6 bios all ready to be put into the auto marketing robot. So I'm going to take the first one, edit, copy, and go back here, and I insert my bio here. There you go, it's all ready. And I'm going to go back up to this spot here, save current author bio into file, and we're going to call this number 1. And there we go. So just while I'm grabbing these other ones, do you have any questions?
Nope, really good so far.
Okay. So this is my number 2. Call this number 2. Save. Choose it. And again, I want to make sure I click off Use Random Checked Author option. I'll just grab one more, and that'll be good enough for now. So this all takes a bit of time, but it takes a lot less time than going to 400 and some odd websites and filling them all individually. Okay, so we have 3 different options there right now. So we're on author options. So we basically have done everything where we want to create some variety. And the reason why I want to create some variety is we don't want Google to see these as the exact same thing and therefore give us no credit for it. We want Google to see them as differently. And basically it's kind of exponential. The software will take your first title, your first summary, and your first biography, and take the 3 of those, but then the next time it's going to take 3 different things. The next time it's going to take 3 different things, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all that random mixing that makes the content out there be different and gets you listed in more websites. The next thing along the top is just the email template. This is a generic email that is going to be sent to each site when you make your submission. So there's really nothing to change here. It just is going to put in your name, your email address, et cetera, et cetera. Then this is where you go to send it off. I'm not going to send it off now because it could take quite a while to go through, because once you send it, it starts to go to each website, put in your username, put in your password, make the submission. You can actually watch it do it in front of you if you wanted to hang around for a couple hours and watch it. But it does it for you kind of right before your eyes, and you see that it actually has the software there to communicate with each different website and input your name and input your password and do all that legwork for you. And that's why you want to make sure that this button here, automatic post, is definitely ticked off. And if we just want to take a look at it for a second, preview it, it says a sample article that will be submitted. If you use rotated title, subtitle, summary, article, the sample article will be different each time. So you can also change your article if you want to, but I don't think that's as necessary at this point in time. So here's the title. What makes a key opinion leader a key opinion leader? Oh, for some reason it didn't change my subtitle, so it's a good thing I checked that. Here's my summary. Do you need to identify who are the key opinion leaders in your medicine or disease area? Here are some great tips to help you identify your KOLs. Here's the article, and then here's my biography. So let's just go back, and we'll figure out why my subtitle didn't change. Okay, so we'll just delete that. Go grab the subtitle again. This is why I like putting things in a separate Word document, because then I have them and I have kind of a record of them, and I know what I've done and what I haven't done, and I don't have to think, oh, I accidentally deleted it. What did I say before? I don't have to remember. It's all right there for me. Okay, great. So what you would do is you would start the post robot and you would start sending the article off, and then after you sent it, you could see the history of how many sites it was submitted to, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just go back here for a second. So as I said, there's other tools that you can look at. Some of these actually have some language features in them where they actually automatically change some of the words in your articles to make your articles different. And some of them are more about changing the articles. Some of them are more about changing your titles. Some of them are more about posting them to the various websites. So you can take a look at them, but I find this one, Article Post Robot, to be cost-effective, to do the basic job, and to kind of be a great place to get you started from that perspective. Okay, so just to kind of summarize some of the things we talked about, your biography should be 1 or 2 sentences, and you need at least 5 different bios. I showed you 6 because I just changed a little bit of features in mine. In your next article, so let's say you're doing a second article, you can use the same biography, like the same words, but you should change the links. So there should be something you're changing in your biography all the time, whether it be the links or the words or something like that. The biography should only really have about 2 links, and you shouldn't put them side by side. You should put words in between them that help describe them and make them a bit more interesting and creative. We do know that not all links are created equal. The most powerful links are what I showed you before, which is anchor text. Again, anchor text is when you anchor the text with your keyword phrase. This is why article marketing is extremely powerful. I showed you this before and on a previous session, but this just recaps it here in the PowerPoint. The person reading the article just sees continuing medical education if my anchor text is continuing medical education. But if they click on this link, they're going to go to this spot on my website. As I said, in the bio, you want 2 links to different pages, and you want to turn those both into anchor text, which is what we did. People do not need to click on it for it to be powerful. You just want the spiders, the bots, to find them and to get from that article that's listed on eZine back to your website and things like that. Okay, so how can you make your work turn into results? I know some people who have made it their objective to write 2 articles a day for 6 months, and there was no questioning that they were at the very top of the search engine ranking, which then brought them lots of new customers and lots of queries on people helping them and lots of new business. That's why I also said earlier is you might want to think about using the same content in the article as in your email, because if you're going to do something in your email, why write something new from scratch? Because your email typically doesn't get posted anywhere. So since your email is not posted anywhere, here's a chance to make your content more valuable by spreading it around in articles. Again, just as a reminder, we're really only looking at writing based upon experience or how-tos, not on what other people have said or conjecture, but things that will help other people be successful as it relates to your business and your business model. So I just found this nice summary I thought I would share, that the benefits of article marketing, that it gives you faster search engine indexing. Search engines love most of these article directories due to their content-rich nature. The search engine spiders visit the directories regularly because they're always getting new content, and your links therefore will be crawled almost immediately. You get higher search engine ranking. Article marketing helps build a solid base of incoming links to your website. Having more relevant links pointing to your site will result in a higher search engine ranking. You get targeted traffic from the articles. So if your articles provide relevant information to the reader, then the reader will click on the links you embedded in your article, and that targeted traffic will result in a higher conversion rate for your offers. It also, of course, boosts your credibility for your business. If you have proven yourself to be an authority in a particular niche, your readers will trust what you have to say, and your readers will follow you, subscribe to your newsletters, and revisit your website. So what's important to do is, in order to stay top of mind as an expert, is to kind of think about what is your publication plan. What will you write about? So if you wanted to do an article a week rather than 2 articles every day, what would you want to write about each week? So would you want to write about, how you've helped, 10 new patients in the last year through the various services that you've offered? How, timely diagnosis has improved the outcome for a particular patient? When you're thinking about what you're going to write about, think about, very importantly, where will it link to on your website? What 2 places will it link to? One being the primary one, and what keywords does that primary one have? If you don't have a spot on your website that people can link to that's relevant to your article, but you know that the article is important to your customer base, maybe that means you need a new page on your website. And maybe that new page on your website is the sales message related to the article's content. So, take the article content and now turn it into a buying messages and put that as a page on your website. You also have to think about the frequency of your article publication versus other communications that you're doing. So if you're sending out a newsletter once a month, maybe then you do want to do an article every week. If you're doing a newsletter really quick every day, then maybe you want to do an article once a week. So you have to think about how much your organization can absorb and how much they can do at one point in time. Just some other thoughts that I just wanted to mention just before we move off of the article marketing software tools. There really are, as I mentioned before, hundreds of free article submission sites that gladly accept your articles that are written to provide readers with useful information. So just to kind of as a reminder, as long as these articles are not thinly disguised sales letters but provide solid content, then the sites will accept them for publication, and in turn they will then make those articles available for reading and for publication for anyone else browsing their article archives. E-zine publishers, all these sites out there are kind of hungry for good quality information to provide to their subscribers, and they'll include the subscribers will include some of your articles in their own publications. So that's why I said if you have a goal of like 10,000, soon your articles are making their way across the internet, and at the end of each article, and it's kind of like the gift that goes to you is given that you've given free information, you're getting free publication, and that's why they're allowing you in your resource box to put a brief description of you and a link back to your website. So that's why soon you're getting targeted traffic from visitors who have read your article, found information about you in the resource box, and clicked on your website link provided there. So really you shouldn't underestimate the value of those links from your articles back to your website. As I've mentioned many times before, it's a well-known fact that the biggest search engine on the internet is Google, and Google uses backlinks to increase search rankings as it indexes web pages. So the more links you have back to your website, the higher your web page rises in the search rankings. And it's really very, very difficult to get there any other way unless you want to pay for sponsored advertisements. But why would you pay for an ad when you already have invested enough money in your business as it is? And then there's a free way, meaning free after you write the article, to get all the traffic that you need. So that's really why people have come out with these article posting tools. to help you get your article published in as many of these sites as possible. And then that therefore increases the number of visitors, which increases the number of customers. Okay, so let's just look at what some homework might be. So I would think a good piece of homework would be to identify 5 article subjects that you would like to develop for your organization, to create some impactful headlines. Excuse me. If you could maybe create 3 headlines that relate to each of those 5 subjects, that would be a way to start your organization thinking about how to do this. And then identify this information for each of the 5 article subjects. So for each 5 article subject, identify where will it link to, with what keywords are you going to be linking, and then what would be your frequency that you would want to publish it, et cetera, from that perspective. So does that seem like it would be reasonable homework?
Sure.
Okay. So let's just look at a summary here. Articles really are the most controllable backlink tools, meaning that you can control whether or not they get out there and whether or not they get considered for posting. You can reuse your content to grow your backlinks. You can submit manually or automatically, as we've shown you. And the key would be to develop an editorial schedule and a frequency so that things are regularly coming out from you. So, because again, Google really likes things that are changing and that are new and the content's fresh, et cetera, et cetera. So next time, I thought we'd look at Facebook and LinkedIn. And so any questions so far on article marketing and how you can use that?
No, I think it's really interesting, especially with what we've talked about in the past couple of weeks. It kind of brings it all together, and I think it's definitely something that I could use in terms of starting to backlink our website. And while I update our information, it would be good to jot things down in an article and have something to show them.
Yeah, yeah. And the nice part about particularly healthcare is there's lots of information that people are looking for, and unlike maybe someone who was selling candy, could you write an article every day about candy? Perhaps not. But if you're writing an article, or maybe you could. I mean, I'm sure the people at Skittles would challenge me a little bit. But when it comes to healthcare, there's the perspective that each of your different audiences could have, whether it be a physician, a nurse, a patient, a caregiver, a parent. There's so many different people you can write to, and so many different messages that they want to hear about, that there's often lots and lots of content that you can consider.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great. This has been really helpful for me so far.
Great. Well, I appreciate your time and all your questions.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me all of this info, and hopefully I'll get something. Maybe I can send something to you on Monday or Tuesday before we have our next session to